friends, Kim from Stamping Imperfection. I'm part of the Cat Scrappiness video team, and I'm here to share a couple of gift card holders and a cash gift holder. If you prefer to give cash at Christmas time, we can make a pretty holder for that. So I am using the Ugly Sweater Christmas paper, and I am also playing with the Winter Essentials die set. This is pretty fabulous, the Winter's Essential die set. I'll be also playing with the Quokka dress up and the Ugly Sweater add-on kit for that, and I pulled out my Merry Critters set because I love the Merry Christmas sentiment, and I will be using that on the projects that I'm making today. And I am going to share at the end, I will have 3 projects that I've completed. I'm going to show you how I made 2 of them because I made 2 gift card holders exactly the same size and in the same fashion. I just decorated them differently, so you'll see the second one at the end of the video. So here are all the patterns that you get. You can see these are double-sided paper. They're a nice heavyweight cardstock. You get 4 of each of these patterns, which is really nice because that's a pretty generous amount. A lot of times you only get 2 of each pattern, and I really loved this snowflake pattern, so I definitely will be making 4 gift card holders out of this, and 2 of them I'm making today, so you will see that. So this actually has a snowflake pattern on one side and stars on the other side, and I definitely want the snowflake to be the outside because I've got that Winter Essential die set. I want to create a cute little winter scene to go with the snowflake, this snowfall snowflake here, and that's kind of what it will look like. So I'm scoring it at 3.5, and then I flipped it over and scored it at 3.5 on the other edge as well. So it's 3.5 inches from each edge of this panel. This paper, by the way, is 4 by 10.5 inches, so it's a generously sized piece of paper. I'm using my 1-inch circle punch to cut out a little notch for the inside pocket of the gift card holder. I always love that little detail. I feel like it's a really fun little detail. So I'm going to pull out some double-sided adhesive and use that. I like the 1/8 inch adhesive for projects like this, and you can use 1/4, you could use 1/2, whatever you have, because this is actually 4 inches wide, so it's actually much larger than the gift card itself, so you have enough room to use wider tape if that's what you have. So that's a good thing. So I'm just folding this over and adhering that inside pocket. Now I've got my front cover. I'm using Velcro, so I put the 2 parts of the Velcro together, and then they have adhesive on the back, so I remove the adhesive covering here, and I place them on that front flap together, and then I'll put it down and adhere it to the pocket so that they will perfectly match every time someone opens and closes it. And you want to actually let that adhesive have time to adhere to that pocket before you start opening and closing it a lot. So I generally try not to open and close it until I'm done decorating. That's usually plenty of time for that adhesive to really take effect. So from the Winter Essentials die set, I did 1 snowbank in white, and it's really pretty. It's got a nice stitch detail around the edge. And then in dark green, I did this evergreen tree trio, and I love this. This, I think, is now my new favorite tree die in my stash, and I love how it's sized so perfectly for the front of a Slimline or the front of a regular size A2 size card. So notice that I use liquid glue for the snowbank and the trees. I'm going to go ahead and put a little bit of foam behind this deer just so he has some dimension, and that'll really add to the illusion that he is in front of the trees. And I'm just going to put a little bit of foam there. I'm not going to worry about putting foam behind those legs. There's no foam thin enough to do that. And I do love this little white foam. This is 1/4 inch white foam, so that works pretty well on these little critters. So I add him. I want to add a sentiment, so I'll be pulling out that Merry Critters with the Merry Christmas. And you can see I put leftover pieces if I make extra die cuts and things, or extra stamped images. They go in the stamp envelope, and I save those and sometimes pull those out and use them. So I'm just stamping this on white in black ink. I'm keeping this very simple. It is December 18th. It is time to get the stuff done. So the gift card holders need to get done. Now, a lot of times with these gift card holders, I will punch a hole in the corner, the upper corner, and add some twine or ribbon. Then I can hang them on the tree so that the recipient can grab it off the tree. And also it actually makes a really nice decoration for on your tree. And a couple other things I sometimes do, and I did this on the second one, I rounded the corners of that front flap. I also put a piece of red cardstock, just a strip of red cardstock along the bottom below the top flap, so it gave some contrast. You'll see that on the end, at the end of the video. So that's the Cat Scrappiness embellishment organizer, and I love that organizer. You can see I'm working my way through filling all of the containers with beautiful sequins and embellishments. And I have this Christmas sequence mix. I'll put the exact name of this in the links below. I'm just using a couple of red and one of the silver sequins. There are some star sequins and green sequins, all different sizes. Like, it's really nice. It's a nice mix. Definitely a nice shaker mix for sure. But I really love sequins, so I do like to add them to my cards. So I just added 3. I didn't want to overdo it, but I did want to add a little bit more red here, and that completes that gift card holder. So I'll pull that out again at the end. So for the next one, I'm using a full-size sheet of white paper. I am going to use that Christmas Gnome set because I do love gnomes. And I'm still using the same ugly sweater paper, and in fact the same pattern here. So I'm using a full-size sheet of paper, 8.5 by 11. I have the 11-inch side along the ruler. So I'm scoring at 3 inches. I'll flip it 180 degrees and score from the other edge at 4 inches. Now the 3-inch side is going to be the side that I fold in, and that's going to create the pocket of my card. So I'm just going to again use my 1-inch punch, mostly because it's sitting on my desk. You could use a larger punch. If you don't have punches, use dies. You can use one of your smaller circle dies to do exactly the same thing. You just make sure that half of the circle die is on the paper, the other half is hanging off. So I'm using the 1/8 inch double-sided tape again to adhere the edges of the pocket to the back of the card, trimming down any excess if you don't exactly get it folded perfectly straight, and then giving that top panel, that top front of the card, a nice fold with my bone folder. And now I'm going to add the Velcro. Same thing. I put the front and the back pieces of the Velcro together, attach them to one side and close the flap and attach it that way. And then I don't open it or close it again too many times until I have let it sit for a while. So now my finished card is going to be 4 by 8.5. So I need to trim down my papers to 4 by 8.5. And I want the pattern paper actually to be smaller. So I'm doing this at 3 3/4 by 8 1/4. And that will give me a little border all around the edge, and that's what that red piece of cardstock is for. Okay, so that was 3 3/4 by 8 1/4. This one is going to be 4 by 8.5, which is the exact size of the front of my card. So I'm just going to use some liquid adhesive and attach these two panels. and this red panel will go directly onto my card. And since these are exactly the same size, I stand them up, I make sure they're aligned, and then this particular glue, I just started using this again because I really like how much wiggle room time I have here to get things straight and to align that so I have the same amount of border on each side. Now I pulled out these great Slimline, these are hills or snowbanks, and I wanted to show you, this is one of the Cat Scrappiness organizers. This is one of the vinyl envelopes, and that's the magnet insert on the white cardstock, and it's a nice heavy cardstock and it's a nice heavy magnet. I really like it because my die cutting machine sometimes bends my dies a little bit, like they come out curved, and by putting them on those nice strong magnets, it actually really helps to keep them flattened out and ready to go the next time I use them. So I'm just adding the two snowbanks in opposite directions. And how perfect is that for that Slimline card? Perfect. So again, the snowbanks and the trees are getting added with liquid glue. And I do find that this glue, since it does take a little bit longer to dry, sometimes I need to put like a clear block, or I'll put my Misty on the top to hold it down and let that glue have time to actually do its job. And here you can see me pushing it down again, and that should be good enough. I am going to put some foam tape on the back of that gnome. You can see I colored him up, and I did cut him out with my brother's Scan and Cut, and I actually quite like that, but I have to say it's hard to find the mats, so I feel like I might end up going back to purchasing coordinating dies for all my stamp sets because it's just so convenient to actually have the coordinating dies. It's so nice. Like every time I pull out a stamp set that has a coordinating die set, I'm like, oh, I love this. So I am adding the sentiment with liquid glue, and I'm going to put it all the way over to the left and add a few sequins. I'm going to stick to the red and the silver ones again on this one just because I feel like it needs a little bit more red, and I'm using like the larger red sequins, and I'll use a couple small silver sequins. I feel like it definitely has enough green since I did the Gnome in the green. And again, I'll add those with liquid glue. I feel like that's just the right amount. And again, I'll link all of these products below. Make sure you give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. You can find more of me at Stamping Imperfection. And even if you don't want to purchase anything, definitely go ahead and click on the links. There's the other gift card I made. You can see the nice pocket inside this one. And you can see the dress-up Quokkas with the ugly sweaters. Super fun. I used the ugly sweater paper for that one too. And here's the first one that I made. I did put a card in so you could see it, and I did add a bow there with some jute ribbon so you can see how that works. And that circle under the Quokkas comes from the Craft Essentials die set number 1. So thank you so much for watching, friends. Let me know which is your favorite gift card in the comments below. Thanks for watching.